Good afternoon. We're back with more Marvel Champions, and today we'll be playing Captain America versus Sandman on Expert difficulty. Starting a Sinister Motives campaign on Expert using our custom rules for an Expert campaign. Basically just playing against the Expert bosses in sequence, using the campaign bonuses but no penalties. The reason we're not playing the campaign using the printed rules is because it is horribly balanced for solo play. In fact, I consider it unplayable in solo as printed. And it may be that even with no campaign penalties, that this campaign is not beatable on Expert because of the restriction of needing to use one hero for all these scenarios. Because the scenarios are quite varied in the challenges they present, and it's possible that no one hero can beat all of them on Expert, but I think that's not true. I think it is possible, and we're going to try it out with Captain America. Though there is certainly a very limited list of heroes that can do it when playing in progression mode, meaning using only cards that were available at the time that the expansion was released. So we're getting set up here. We're using Protection Captain America. Got set up with a Super Soldier Serum and an Energy Barrier. Sandman necessitates a hero with strong defense abilities because anytime he does damage to your identity, he adds sands to the city streets, and those can build up and become quite a problem. So here we're playing Never Back Down. And we take no damage from the attack, so we get to go ahead and stun the enemy, Sandman. I realize at this point that I forgot to grab Captain America's shield for the setup, which means I would have drawn one less card. So we fix that. We've got a stun with Never Back Down. Stunning Sandman is very good because his attacks deal indirect damage, which means you can't block them with allies. We're going to get out Unflappable and use a shield block to get Captain America's shield out. I don't like doing that, but I also didn't want to hold two cards in hand. Well, sometimes hold one card in hand, but holding more than that is really bad. Kneecaps the deck. So Sand Slide is going to put the sand counters up to 8. So the boss is cycling through his deck pretty fast now. And we get a stun on Captain America as a result of the Sand Slide. I just went back to double check that we did discard a Sandman card, which we did. So we'll use Fearless Determination just to cycle it. We'll use the resource and power in all of us to get out Agent 13, remove 2 threat. We'll use Captain America's action to remove a stun. We'll ready him with a discard. And then probably exhaust him to remove 2 sand tokens. There I just paid for Agent 13 in a different way using the resource generator and Super Soldier Serum so that I could discard power in all of us and hang on to Expert Defense and Shield Block. It's debatable whether that was better. It's possible I should have discarded Expert Defense anyway, so that I wasn't holding 2 cards in hand, but hang on to Shield Block, use it on the attack, and exhaust Unflappable to draw a card. The encounter card is going to be caught off guard. I'm probably going to have to get rid of my energy barrier here because Super Soldier Serum and Unflappable are too strong. So rip energy barrier, which I'm pretty sad about. But we got another one, which we can get out with power protection. And also a hard to ignore. So our setup is pretty good here. We're slow playing it a little bit by removing all the sands. But once again there, I forgot about Super Soldier Serum, so I'm able to hang on to the Expert Defense. Now we're slow playing it a little by keeping all the threat off of the main scheme and by getting rid of the sands, but I think it's the safest way to play. At least until phase 3. So here the attack doesn't get through Cap's defenses, and we can unflappable and hard to ignore. And the encounter card is Dirt Trap. That's a rough one. If you haven't dealt with the sands, they can really get out of control because Dirt Trap makes you use Surging Sands twice. Sandman is vulnerable to getting stunned. Some of the later bosses in this expansion are not, but Sandman is, so we're going to Heroic Strike him. Get a stun on him, deal 6 damage. And then I'm thinking about using my other Heroic Strike to pay for hard to ignore. I don't really like doing that. And in hindsight, I shouldn't have, but I did it. And we'll exhaust Agent 13 and remove just 1 sand counter. So we remove Sandman's stun during his villain phase, and then going to exhaust a character and spend a resource of any type for now or never. And then for the hero phase, we're going to get out the second Super Soldier Serum and Flow Like Water as well. So got a pretty strong setup with Unflappable, 2 hard to ignores, Flow Like Water, 2 Super Soldier Serums. Not much that I'm worried about at this point, and we're in pretty good shape. So we've been able to prevent damage from every single one of Sandman's attacks. Here we're going to use Defiance to get rid of the boost card, which means the attack of 3 doesn't get through Sandman's defenses. Captain America's Retaliate from the shield is slowly picking away at Sandman. And hard to ignore, unfortunately, can't remove any threat from the main scheme due to the crisis icon, but we can still Unflappable to draw a card and use Flow Like Water for 1 damage. Encounter card's another Dirt Trap, so at this point I'm thinking if I can maybe just burn through the quest or the damage that Sandman has remaining without dealing with the Dirt Traps. I certainly have the capability of dealing with them. They're just annoying to deal with. So we're going to Heroic Strike for 6 damage. That'll put Sandman into phase 3, which means no more indirect damage, which is good. Does resolve Surging Sands and add a sand counter. And we're going to ready Captain America and then go ahead and probably remove the sand counters. So 1 threat, remove stun, and 1 encounter card. And it's Loose Ends. That's going to bring in Cap's Obligation, which is apparently in the discard pile. So Man Out of Time. And we'll flip to Alter Ego to deal with that, which is going to mean discarding 1 card from hand because of Loose Ends. So we got a random discard. And then we're into the hero phase. Might actually get some use out of Steve's Apartment here. I'm not sure that's a card I've ever played before, but in this situation, we can just cycle, and maybe if we are in Alter Ego again. Sandman's a very forgiving scenario in terms of the Alter Ego because he only thwarts for 1. So there I used Defiance. Defiance is a really good protection card when combined with the other cards, Unflappable, hard to ignore. And Captain America is pretty strong with protection. So we're going to never back down here. The attack does 6 damage, so to take no damage from it, we'll have to use an energy barrier token. That's fine. Get a stun on Sandman, get Unflappable. Not getting any value out of hard to ignore here. Do get a Flow Like Water damage. And for the hero phase, we got Tidal Sands. We'll probably have to deal with that. That's one of the reasons why you want to keep the sand tokens low on city streets, because that adds 1 threat for each sand token, and that could be a lot if you've been ignoring it, and then you've got an additional encounter card for the rest of the game. We'll use Nick Fury here, probably just deal 4 damage. Try to burn through the remaining Sandman health this turn or next. And then I'm thinking about using Shield Toss to ready cap here. Or I'm wondering if I should save Shield Toss for next turn, but I decide I'm going to just discard it and ready Captain America. And cycle through the deck, so 1 encounter card. Got 1 threat. Remove stun. And Friends and Family comes out, no problem. Nick Fury's going to leave at the end of the round, and then can we deal 9 damage here? I don't think so. We can deal 4, 5, 6, but not 9. So we'll get out Martyr. Should have used the Super Soldier Serums for that. There we go. And then we'll deal 1, 2, 3, 4, discard Hard to Ignore, 5, 6, so we're short 3 damage, that's fine. We'll get the damage from Energy Barrier probably, just face tank the attack and then finish off Sandman that way. And there it is. So, Captain America protection, very good against Sandman. I don't think Sandman got off his Surging Sands from the Identity taking damage a single time, which is good, and we end the scenario at 11 health. In terms of the reputation gains, not much. We don't get the bonus from the side schemes not being in play. We don't get the bonus for no threat on the main scheme. We get the bonus for not dying. We don't get the bonus for clearing public outcry. We get the bonus for not having an enemy in play. So that's a total of 3 points, I think. 1. Oh, there's fewer than 1 acceleration tokens in play, so 4 points. No, 3 points. 1 for no minions in play. 1 for fewer than 1 acceleration tokens, and 1 for no defeated identities. So 3 points. The key to Sandman is that you need a hero with strong defense to defend against Sandman's attacks, because if he's getting Surging Sands every round, that is very hard to deal with, because in solo you only have 1 action per round to deal with that, and typically that'll be for 2. So if you have to do that every single round, it becomes a problem very quickly, and then you get a card like the one that deals indirect damage for each token on city streets, or the side quest that gets +1 threat for each token, or you get one of the minions that attacks, and if you can't deal with that, then it'll kill you. So not a lot of heroes are good against Sandman. I tried it with some pretty good heroes that struggled against it. Ant-Man struggled against it because you don't really want to be defending attacks in giant form that much. Ghost Spider did very well against it. Miles did well because of his ability to stun consistently. Miles did okay. But anyway, Captain America protection, very strong against this scenario. So we'll move on to scenario 2, which will be Venom, and thank you for watching.